Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas to all of you. I am Ellington with the Backseat Generals, and today we have got a 3v3 assault on a barbarian settlement. So let's just go and kick it right off, and let's get into the armies and the players. So right here, you can see is Armenia. You can see that there is two units from Armenia because Armenia actually forgot to bring siege equipment. So we don't really know exactly where Armenia is at this point. We know that he has two siege towers here, and that is about it. But Armenia is being brought by Artemis, and to his side over here, we do have Epirus. Epirus is being brought by Gorm Mjolnir, who is one of the other backseat generals, along with Joe on it. And then finally, on this other side, we have Seleucid, who is being brought by Poopy Man, the myth, the legend, Poopy Man. Now, defending, right here in front of Seleucid, we have Macedon, which is a very interesting matchup because Macedon and Seleucid are actually very, very similar factions. I would just say that Macedon's probably not as quite as good as Seleucid is, but Macedon is being brought by Solid Man, and then kind of spread around between different places is myself as Lusitani. I do have a lot of troops over this way because we really suspect that there is a lot of Armenia's units over in these woods, so we think that this is a feint right here. So, the nice thing is because the other two armies are on the other side, I can keep some units over here. Now, the final defender is Egypt, and Egypt is being brought by Dave the Vassal. Um, you know, it's going to be interesting. This battle was very interesting. As we hit play, we'll kind of get started here. Like I said, we highly suspected that Armenia had most of its forces hidden around here, trying to hide from us and make it where wouldn't know where to defend against them. So we decided to take our cavalry straight out against this side so that we could just see exactly what's over here. We needed to really know what is here so we can decide, do we actually need to leave a bunch of units over here or not? So as you can see, my cav and Macedon's cav are both moving out over this way against Armenia. So far, it doesn't look like we're finding much, and Armenia is starting to drop his towers just to defend against attacks. But I believe, if I remember correctly, I was telling Solid Man, we both kind of agreed that we don't need to worry about this. We're not caring about this. We're worried about what is in the other places. So we honestly just avoided the two units so we could kind of explore. So as you can see, Epirus is moving up with his siege towers. Epirus does that. Let's see, he's moving up with a couple hoplites and a couple of mercenary Samnite warriors and an Italian sword on the battering ram, and then another hoplite unit, mercenary Italian swords, and a Samnite warrior over on these towers. Dave is already laying into him with his siege equipment. I'm not. It looks like he's going after the Italian swords on the battering ram just to knock them down a bit. Looks like Epirus also brought 3 Cretan archers, a Molossian dog, a thorough spears and pikes, a lot of thorough spears. Then he has a Hellenic Royal Cav Gen and mercenary Indian war elephants. Now our Cav, as you can see, has really explored just about everything over here, so we've kind of realized, okay, there's not really anything on this side, so you'll probably you're going to see here soon a bunch of my units moving away. Obviously, I'll keep a couple units here to, fight. I mean, there we go. Good timing. How about that? So yeah, I'll probably leave a couple units here just to, zone these guys out if need be. Now on this side, Seleucid is moving up. He's got, let's see, it looks like a bunch of thorax swords here, moving the towers up to the walls. And then Macedon is using his artillery against the back lines here. And then Looks like obviously Seleucid almost always you just bring the mercenaries or the Syrian heavy archers. They're some of the best archers in the game, and Seleucid's like one of the few factions who can bring all of them. They might be the only one actually who can bring all four. Most other factions can only bring three because they're mercenaries. Then he's got some hillmen. He has like 6, 7 thorax swords, which is pretty standard. 2 regular pikes and a Gema Cav for his gen, and then a median Cav as backup. Now, once again, because we can't see Armenia, we don't really know what Armenia has. Now, Dave over here is about to engage with Epirus. I don't know why Epirus's unit towers are looking backwards. Sometimes the towers in Rome 2 can be very glitchy. But let's see. Dave, let's see, Galatian swords, backed up by a thorax sword, with some more Galatian swords getting ready to peel the walls here. And he did move some thorax swords up above the gate to fire down on the mercenary Italian swords. That's a good move there. He's got a Carian axeman, a thorax sword, and another Carian axeman, all kind of up in this area, with 2 Galatian swords over here and a thorax sword holding that corner. Then here he's got a thorax sword and a Carian axeman holding against this tower here, which once again is facing backwards. I think Gorm must be having some issues with his towers. You know, sometimes the towers can be very goofy. Now Gorm does have some of his Cretan archers moving up, starting to pelt down some of the enemy troops here. Now myself, I've got a bunch of veteran shield warriors here, 2 Lusitani nobles, Iberian swords, a lot of those, some Iberian slingers, and Iberian swords over here, and then my 2 cav are Scutari cav. Macedon here has got mercenary Thracian warriors, 3 units of Cretan archers, thorax swords, let's see, 3 units of those there, then another 3 units of thorax swords here. There's another archer that he had, Rolpeltis backing him up, and a mercenary Thracian warrior back here with his thorax pikes in the back, and his general as a companion cav. Now, the nice thing is, you know, because of the mobility of our cav, we could really do a lot of checking out. We really did not need to worry about these 2 units yet. So we really just wanted to find out where Armenia was. And speaking of the devil, Armenia has got 4 units of axemen walking out of the side over here. So we really came to the conclusion at this point that Armenia's army was hiding over here. Especially, you see there's another unit of elite Persian archers. So it does look like Armenia is going to team up with Seleucid to try and double team through Macedon, which that's a good tactic. Now the thing is that I have been able to move a lot of my units back to support Macedon. The thing is, Macedon's position is it's very, very open. This is a spot that's very hard to defend because it can be very open and hard to get a good battle line drawn up. The nice thing is, though, that you can set up your archers on the defense very, very well. His thorax swords are starting to lay into the Seleucid thorax swords already. They're starting to land. Now, Epirus is the one that's really pushing hard here. He's got some hoplites on the wall here. Now, I'm a little confused by the hoplites in the beginning. But, I mean, Epirus is a little bit limited, and he's already got his elephants coming in. Look at that. So Epirus's elephants are moving in already, but the thing is that Egypt has his carrying axemen sitting right here ready to blow through these guys. The Pila into these, especially the unarmored elephants, is just completely and totally devastating. And here comes the archer fire as well. So he's got carrying axemen throwing in this way, carrying axemen throwing in this way, and the elephants are out of control and just running out. So I think he's at this point just trying to get his units. Oh, holy crap. So as you can see, Armenia does have 2 units over here. Let's see, actually no, 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units over this side. So we had come to the conclusion that they were all over here because there is a good force over here. But no, they actually have a sizable set of forces over with Epirus. And that is actually very dangerous. And I believe at this point, Dave was already kind of under a lot of pressure. He didn't feel like he was doing very good at holding some of these spots. And when he saw Armenia come out of the woods, he was like, "Man, I need help. I need help now." So what we decided to do, I as Lusitani actually have 4 units of guerrilla deploy over on this side, and I said, okay, at this point, I think I need to activate the guerrillas, get them over onto the flank over here just to distract these guys and get them to slow their attack on Dave. One that'll allow Dave to kind of solidify his position, and he can maybe finish off some of the units um, on the walls. Now, with our cab, we decided to start cycle charging into these guys. Honestly, once again, just to slow them down, just to keep them off of the walls as much as possible. Now, these axemen are actually considered high threat to both of our cavalry units. So we were actually, every time we charged into these guys, we were actually taking a lot of damage. Like my Scutari's already lost 10 men, and I've only done 2. But we're going to cycle charge in and out. Really, once again, our main goal here is just to keep them off the walls, so we just don't need to worry about this as much. It's a lot more micro, but you know what? It's something that we just found we needed to do because we just did not need a thorn in our side of 2 more units over here. And then those units would have been able to flank over to Dave's side as well. As you can see, I have moved units over here. I've got Iberian Swords, Veteran Shield Warriors, and Iberian Swords. So yeah, 3 Iberian Swords and 1 Veteran Shield Warrior over here to helping support this flank. And then my Lusitani guerrillas are just starting to become visible, so we'll see how quickly they start responding to it. It might take them a sec before they start responding. Now, on Macedon's side, he is engaging these thorax swords from Seleucid pretty heavily, and then Seleucid is getting some hillmen up on the walls. Now, on this left flank, Macedon does not have a whole lot defending against this. He's got 1 unit of thorax swords ready to defend against that tower, but we'll see how that goes. I do have my slingers, and then Macedon has 2 of his archers over here getting ready to support that wall edge. Over here, as you can see, our cav is still once again cycle charging into these these axemen. We can't take them on head on, so we're having to just literally use our mobility to stay away from them and cycle in as much as we possibly can. One of my Scutari is down to 19, and one of them is down to 51. Because of all the running around, unfortunately, our cavalry is pretty tired. And as you can see, Macedon's cav has left the battle. They did leave with 26 kills. Then my cav has 33 and 19. Now the axemen are at 75 and 95. But once again, the job that we gave the cav of slowing them down is doing what it needs to. The Iberian swords have engaged the Cartly axemen over here, and then the veteran shield warriors are getting ready to engage on this side as well. And then I have an Iberian sword helping on the left flank. Now, my guerrillas are starting to engage. Armenia did move a couple of his units just to engage me, and I'm using my Lusitani guerrilla spears to really just kite them and fall back and fire into them. Just because the Lusitani guerrilla spears, they have the ability to control your precursors, while the guerrilla warrior swords don't. The guerrilla warrior swords are like most sword units, where you can only click to attack, like to melee attack, and then your guys will throw their spears when they go. But the cool thing here is now Dave's archers are getting great shots on the back of Armenia and Epirus' units here, because they're deploying so far to this side that they are exposing their backs to the Egyptians on the walls. Now, a smart move by Epirus is he's got his archers over here, which is really going to decimate my guerrillas. So I'm honestly just trying to draw them back as far as I possibly can. Just because the more they come this way, the more that they are not attacking the walls, which is very handy for Dave. Now, Armenia does have his Cartly axemen still on the walls, but they're pretty much getting double and triple teamed at this point. Now, the axemen over here are starting to get back onto the siege towers, so I decided to move my cav back in to try and stop them again. Once again, just every time you hit these guys on the tower, they're just going to start getting back off of it, which is nice because it really just slows down the enemy. Now, Armenia did start getting an axeman up to this tower, and I believe Solid Man is probably going to start engaging it soon. I hope. Maybe. Okay, I guess he's not yet, but that's fine. I am starting to move some of my veteran shield warriors that I had in reserve up because he's getting a little stretched over here. He only has the one unit guarding this point, and there are more units coming up because even though Armenia does have some units on the other side, most of his army is over here with Seleucid. Now, Seleucid has got a great position here with his archers. He's really starting to lay in here. And the issue that I have is because of my low armor, it makes it very hard for me to get into this combat because I'm just so exposed to the archer fire. Get a screenshot of that real quick. That was a cool shot. Now I'm biting the bullet and I'm moving my guys in here to help support this line because this thorax sword here is getting very, very thin. He's going up against, I think, yeah, one thorax sword. Then over here we got a royal peltis and a hillman. Those royal peltis are really going to chew through the Macedonian thorax swords. They are a far better unit. Now let's see, my cav is still moving in and out here. Although they are prepared for it. But once again, my goal is just to keep them busy, and that's exactly what they're doing. That's the nice thing about my position was that because I was kind of supporting both sides, I was really able to control that cav a lot more. I was able to micro it much more than I could have if I was on a frontline defense. Now, the Car of the Axemen are starting to fail here, and Epirus just looks like he's running out of troops. He does have 5 units over here that are still chasing down this guerrilla unit. Don't really know why they've chased him down that long, but this archer unit has a great shot on these pikes here, and they're just going to lose unnecessary men there. Now, up here, now you can see, once again, that was my worry. You know, as soon as my Lusitani troops got close, those archers immediately started laying into me. So I am just starting to kind of fall back. I'm using my troops as kind of to plug the holes, really. You know, to go in, solidify a defense real quick, and then try and get out of there so I don't get focused down by archers. Now over here, it's a pretty even fight for the most part. You know, it says these guys are losing, but to be honest, they are holding a smaller spot. Now that archer fire is starting to cause them to break, which is very unfortunate. Now I'm going to have to commit my guys back in, and I'm probably not going to be able to get them out this time. Now these veteran shield warriors are in combat now with the royal peltis and the hillman. Let's see, it says they're winning decisively at this point. Well, maybe, yeah, there's royal peltis. Okay. I was like, where'd the royal peltis go? Now, Macedon is falling back some of his units just to kind of reform a line, because we were getting stretched pretty thin on this side. I am, once again, filling in a lot of those spots, and looks like Armenia is starting to get more units back onto this wall now, so Macedon's probably going to go and engage that. The hill here is just staying here. He's got some great side shots with the Rhodian slingers. 154 kills already with those guys. My slingers, I don't think I've even used them yet. Looks like this, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, I haven't even used my slingers yet at all. So all my slingers are full ammo. And then my Lusitani nobles are still around as well. I was moving a Lusitani noble over here because these axemen were a much better unit than my Iberian swords. So the worry I had was that the Iberians were not going to be able to win by themselves. Now that Egypt has solidified, he told me to take my troops back and support Macedon because it looks like Epirus is pretty much done, so Egypt was like, dude, I've got this, go help Macedon, go help Solid Man. So I'm moving most of my units here, which are still decently healthy, back to this side. Now, it looks like Solid Man still has a unit, just kind of holding back some of Seleucid. But at this point, Seleucid's really just going to be able to start moving its troops in and really just start forming up an attack here. He did move up some hillmen, probably to get some sort of like Pila shots or something like that. I decided to take one of my veteran shield warriors and chase it off just to get rid of it. That was a beautiful shot by the Pila for the veteran shield warriors. But at this point, I really should be turning them around. They don't need to be this exposed like this. It's kind of a waste on my part. There we go. Maybe I'd turn... It's like they got caught up on something, maybe, or it just stopped them. I'm not sure. Now, Armenia does have an axeman up, and he does have some more axemen coming up the towers now. And... yeah, it looks like it's just kind of a bunch of Cartly axemen, or regular axemen from Armenia here, with some elite Persian archers to support. And I am starting to shoot with my slingers. Now, this is a little bit blobbed up. We should have done a little better than this at not having such a blobbed up area. When your archers are blobbed up in big groups like this, not all of your archers will fire, which means you're really just kind of cutting down on the efficiency of the unit. So... now over here, it looks like Epirus is just kind of keeping steady here. He's got a small unit, or I guess it's a full unit almost, of pikes here, just sitting in the gatehouse. I think, honestly, just to keep the gatehouse open, probably, so that his other units can move in if he wants to. Now, that one Lusitani gorilla I have left is actually alive, and he's still sitting over here. We'll see if we do anything fun with him. And then Epirus is laying in some archer fire into some of the troops on the wall here. This guy's only got 17 units, so it's probably, not really worth attacking. And then he's got a mercenary Cretan archer that he probably didn't mean to move forward. Pathfinding, Now, the axeman over here actually did end up losing. I'm not entirely sure how, because I don't think the Lusitani nobles ever got into combat. So interestingly, the Iberian swords must have... it's probably because the Iberian swords were still a full-strength unit, and those axemen were pretty hurt by the time they got on. That's probably why the Iberians won, because I remember looking, and they had the axemen were a high threat to the Iberian swords. So, I mean, you could see it was quite the slugfest out here. Our cav got really, really beat up, but they did do the job that we wanted them to, which was really just to slow down that two-man unit over there, or those two units over there. Now, Armenia and Seleucid's archers are ganging up on Macedon's archers here, or the slingers, I mean, because you got Seleucid archer here, and then two Armenian archers, so that's 4v1 here, and I don't... now, these guys do have 208 kills, so they're out of ammo. So I don't really know why these guys... they do not notice that they're out of ammo, because they kept shooting at them. That was a really good use by Macedon of using an out-of-ammo unit to try and distract them. Now, the axemen are going up against a weak thorax sword here, who are really just trying to hold the flank over here. And then the Seleucid archer here is really just getting laid into by all the slingers that are over here. Seleucid probably shouldn't have put an archer all by itself up here. The thing with archers is you either want to outnumber your enemy archers, or you want to at least be even with them. When you're all by yourself, you're just going to get focused down by multiple units, and that's just really not going to be good for, you're not going to get the worth out of the units that you should. As you can see, though, Seleucid does have a lot of his forces up out of the walls. Royal Peltis, and then, I mean, good lord, 3 Royal Peltis, and then some thorax swords, and then they do have the gate now, so they can basically freely just walk in and out of the settlement. So... now over here we do still have some units that are just really just kind of holding on to this side of the hill just in case they try to come down here. But we'll see if they try to, because it really may not be worth it. And then I did put those Iberian swords are on their way back into the center of the settlement now. Now, Epirus is making a pretty heavy push into the gate here. He's got a bunch of units coming in this way. Thorough spears. He's got pikes, Cretan archers. He's got a lot of guys coming into that area. And then he's got his Molossian dogs, which he has not used yet. And then right here, he's got a thorough spear, probably waiting to go up onto this tower over here. My gorilla is still sitting over here, so really the main action is going to be over on this side. And now there is going to be a little bit of a delay here just because of, you know, the two armies starting to form up and move into the settlement so they can ready for their assault. Now, Armenia does have an Axeman unit coming down here, but Macedon's just going to use his Thracian warriors and just go in and kill those guys. So let's see, he does still have his Cretan archer, which only has 3 kills, so they've got good ammo left. And then Egypt moved some of his archers, his Nubian bowmen and Cretan archers over here as well, so that's really handy. So we've got, hopefully, a pretty good defense here. You can see that we're basically deciding to hold this smaller area here. One, it gets us out of range of, more out of range of the arrow tower, but then it's just less of a place that we have to hold on to. So, looks like Macedon is going to take the brunt of the defense here with his, let's see, Thorax Pikes, Royal Peltis. Yeah, 2 Thorax Pikes, Royal Peltis, and a Thorax Swords. And then he's got his companion cav close by to support it. Now, I did move my Balearic Slingers up, but they are getting hit by the Javies from the Royal Peltis. So at this point, I decided to move them back because they were getting hit by pretty heavy without taking, you know, they weren't getting good enough kills to justify taking the losses of staying there. Yeah, this is a very, very cool defense here with the Javies coming in. I kind of decided at this point, you know, that I was getting really tired of the Javies from the Royal Peltis, so I decided that I was just going to go in and shut them up. Because they were really just kind of being really annoying, so I just took 3 of my units. I think they're a bunch of Iberian swords. Let's see, 2 Iberian swords and a veteran shield that are just going to go out and kind of shut them up a little bit. May not have been the smartest idea, but I was annoyed, so I decided to go in and make them be quiet. I was about to get flanked, so I decided to pull these veteran shield warriors back a little bit so that they don't just get unnecessarily targeted. Now, Seleucid does have some of his... He's got a lot of his archers into the settlement now. And I'm moving some of my slingers up to try and get some shots and see if I can, you know, triple team some of these archer units. The Iberian swords are still alive. I like this little, like, dock in the middle of this tiny little pond just right here. And just the guys standing up top, but that's kind of funny. So yeah, my slingers are going to start laying into some of the Seleucid archers. Now, the Seleucid archers, for the most part, are probably... maybe at half ammo, probably not even that. Like, this guy's probably almost out if he isn't already. But those guys, they probably have some, they probably have about half ammo left on him. Now, he does have his pikes moving up. I probably, at this point, should have adjusted my fire. But they do bring in a Royal Peltis and get into my slingers, which hurts quite a bit. And then Armenia's got axes here, and then Cartly Axeman back here, and now here comes a lot of the Seleucid cav. That cav could be a bit of a nuisance, you know. Cav is always one of those things that you have to be very careful of, just because they could, you know, if they find an open spot, if they get behind your lines, dude, it'll be a long day trying to get rid of them, so... Now, my slingers are getting beat up pretty bad here. These guys are down to 50, and they only have 5 kills, so... but a lot of my other stuff, I did move back just to get them out of the archer fire. Yeah, most of my slingers I got back here just because they were taking losses that just weren't worth it. So now we have a little bit of a standoff between Macedon and Seleucid here. We got some pikes on both sides, and then we have some good units as well with the Royal Peltis and Thorax Swords backing it up. So I've got my slingers are going to start forming up kind of here behind the lines of Macedon, trying to keep up a heavy fire on the back lines of Seleucid. Now Epirus, holy crap, Epirus actually has... Looks like Epirus had hidden units because... Holy crap, they actually have a lot more stuff over here, including a couple units from Armenia that I did not realize were over here. And here comes the dogs, the Molossian dogs getting into the pikes and the carrying axemen here. Yeah, so this came out of nowhere. And then I am moving my gorillas. It looks like I snuck them up a tiny bit more now. But yeah, I did not expect all of this stuff to still be here. So they must have been hiding in these trees and bushes. Let's see. Yeah, the Molossian dogs are just going to move up, and then he's got an archer unit that's probably out of ammo. So Dave just really just fell back to the smaller defensive point and is just defending that instead. Unfortunately, the dogs don't seem to be doing much. You know, let's see, what are they at? Wow, they actually did quite a bit on something. I don't know what they've been killing, but they killed quite a bit. Holy crap. 118 kills on those guys. So yeah, he's just kind of defending the smaller choke points here, over here and here, just to kind of condense and consolidate his defense so he's not so strung out and he can still hopefully support us, which is good. So he's got his gen over here with the carrying axemen. I've got some Iberian swords, Lusitani nobles, and Thracian warriors over here, really just to defend against this cavalry in case. Or if Epirus or Armenia decided to come around here. Now, it does look like we still aren't engaged here. Looks like we're still kind of going through a bit of a skirmish phase between the archers. Armenia's archers just got annihilated right there. And then looks like these guys are out of ammo. And these guys are out of ammo. Yeah, it looks like Seleucid's archers are just completely and totally out of ammo. I think he's just really waiting for the other side here to push and make some progress. Now, Armenia's archers over here are completely untouched, so they are just starting to lay into this defense, which is pretty much all pikemen. Pikemen, carrying axemen, and a thorax sword. So those units are really just getting beat to hell by those archers right there. Now, what I decided to do is I decided to bring over 2 of my slinger units and put them onto these walls. I think Dave at this point is pretty much. I think his archers are pretty much gone. So I decided to take 2 of my slingers that really weren't doing anything over here and putting them on the walls to help support him against Epirus and Armenia. From these walls, I should get some great shots against the Armenian archers, which is going to be really good. Now, Thorough Spears are moving up here. It looks like the Thorough Spears might have some Javies left, which is good. And then he does have a pike unit still. Now, I believe it's only... He just have a standard pike. What does Dave have? Dave has a thorax pike. So, 1v1, the thorax pikes will win that fight. The issue is that they do have the archer support here, so they won't need to send their pikes in until they've done a lot more damage to the enemy, to Egypt's pikes. Now, my slingers are up on the walls now, and you can see they just have a great point of view against this Epirus attack here. Now, I can't remember. I think I'm going after these guys right now, but I think I start changing to the Armenian archers. Hopefully, maybe soon. I've got 3 slingers over here. This one has basically has barely shot anything. This guy's 127 kills, and this guy's at 66. So I've got plenty of ammo on those guys. Nice thing with slingers is they do have a lot more ammo than archers do. Now, my veteran shield warriors are forming up here to help support this area. I think I'm going to come in against this thorax sword. And then I've got a Iberian sword here getting ready to support against these guys. Now, they did find what they thought was a little bit of a gap, and they're going to try and exploit that. So I'm going to have to move in my Lusitani nobles to basically help stop that. They do turn around once they realize that if they came in here, they were just going to lose that cav unit with basically no gain at all. And then I do have a small depleted unit of slingers over here that are still just kind of laying into some of the back units here. We did move a lot of our units from this side back over here, just because there really wasn't anything threatening over here. And then I do have my 2 units of Scutari Cav sitting over here on this side. Let's see, Epirus has come in with his gen, so has Armenia. Those Azat Knights are going to be a big issue. As you can see, my slingers are starting to lay into the back areas here, so like the Persian archers, the gens, the pikes, things like that. Now, Armenia is going to move his as at Knight General over this way. I think he's trying to come and maybe find a way up through this way, so basically checking to see if it's covered or not. So he has stopped here. It's kind of a bad spot to stop. He stopped right here next to the arrow tower, so he's really getting shot, and he's still getting shot by the slingers too. That's a crazy range by those slingers, all the way over here. Now the pikes are coming up. Now, yeah, so I switched my fire onto the pikes here because they're going to be the biggest threat on this point here. Is going to be those guys right there, and just the the angle of fire for the slingers at this point is just disgusting. Now, we are pretty well engaged on this side. I have my Lusitani Noble Gen into the combat. He's already 70 kills, and he's barely gotten in, you know. It's not a bad start, sorry. He's going up against some Royal Peltis, and then there is a pike there, but I'm going to try and avoid the pike. The pike is pretty badly injured. He's down to only 38 guys, which can still be damaging as long as he keeps the flanks covered, so... And then Egypt did move his carrying Axeman Gen over into this to support as well. We still have Royal Peltis and our Axemen. The Royal Peltis are 133 kills already. And then this one, 200. Gosh, those guys are so good. 200 on that one as well. Yeah, Royal Peltis is one of my favorite units. I just think that for me, it's always done better than Silver Shield Swords. But I do know that there are other people who disagree with that. I think in the end, I think it comes down to what your personal gameplay is. If you like being able to control your jabbies, the Royal Peltis is definitely the way to go. So, over on this side, I think, we ended up coming out down off of this hill and basically engaging the flank of Epirus here. Now, Armenia did come in and moved in towards this tower, and I knew that my cav wasn't going to deal with them, so I just moved them off for now. Make them come to us. We don't need to go to them over there. Now, over here, because we have the units, we got the Carrying Axemen, Galatian Swords, Thorax Swords, and then I have my Lusitani Gorilla here. We can push this side. Now, Epirus' general is coming around the flank here, and I don't know if I'm going to see this. Yeah, he's going to get a great charge here. Now, I am going to hopefully move my Lusitani Guerrillas into the combat here to help support against the cavalry. Oh, don't go back into it. Oh, don't go back into it. Oh. He's lucky he didn't lose a lot more than that to those stakes, man. Yeah, but gosh, the slinger fire here is still just disgusting against them. It's 67. It's just a great angle. And now Epirus did move in his other units into this area. Now, hopefully Dave will... I hope he wins that part. I don't, got a small pike unit, and then just a bunch of, small depleted units here that are going to try and take on Dave's units there. My spear is still over here. I think I'm probably microing on a different side. That's probably why I'm not doing anything with it. My Iberian swords here are still taking on the Cartly Axemen, and the Veteran Shield Warriors are taking on the Royal Peltis. The Veteran Shield Warriors, 131 kills is a solid amount of kills for a Veteran Shield. And also, they're taking on Royal Peltis. 132 kills when you're taking on Royal Peltis, I'd say is a good thing any day. My Lusitani Nobles are down. They got hurt pretty bad. They're down to 52. I think it was a combination of things like the archers and that small unit of pikes that they were unfortunately getting stuck with. Now, Seleucid's cav is really just being a nuisance at this point. They're just kind of charging into different areas, probing the defenses, trying to look for little areas in. And, if they get lucky, there are holes in this defense. There are places where they could get through. And if they do, that could be just such an issue for us. Now, over here, Epirus did move his gen up, so Macedon moved his gen in, and then I had put my cav in, which unfortunately you can see the cav went down pretty easy, It was two very depleted units of Scutari Cav against a very heavy unit of shot Cav, so that gen was just almost guaranteed to win. Then I had my Iberian Sword here helping out as well. They're just kind of help basically try to soak up the charge of some of this Cav here. But yeah, so the Iberian Sword's just going to sit there and kind of hopefully support that Cav fight as much as it possibly can. Our goal is we're really just trying to slow them down as much as possible. If they get this Cav back behind us, it is going to be a huge issue. Now, as you can see, Macedon is pulling his Cav out just to... because it's shot Cav, you need to keep it moving, keep pushing... pulling out of the attack and then charging back in. So I put my Iberian Swords in once again just to basically just to slow him down so we could reform something, hopefully. Because as you can see, this is basically done. I think Epirus basically just mass broke. I think he just broke from army losses, which basically means that now we can just move these units over to help support against these two units of heavy, heavy cavalry. So now, this side here is still kind of interesting. I think, you can see that they are starting to run low on troops. The main thing, though, is that we just need to get rid of this. If we can get rid of this, then we can really just be confident that we've got this battle done. But I'll be honest with you, that triple-sided attack by Armenia was honestly... I thought very effective. I thought Artemis did a great job with that. He took the fact that he forgot his equipment and he turned it into a really solid strategy there. We were expecting him to come in with one army, not from three different sides. So it was basically one of those things that every time he had a unit pop out of hiding, we're like, holy crap, oh my god, they're over there. Oh my god, they're over there. And so it basically just had us scrambling for much of the game. And, from the fact that this was a 41-minute long battle, you could tell that this was a very close fight. This was something, it looks like we have a lot of units left, but a lot of our units are very, very, very hurt. Very beat up. A lot of them are down under like half health. So it was a great battle. Now, as you can see, unfortunately, this side is pretty much gone. So really, it's just going to come down to the last couple units here, which is going to be the Azat Knights, which are going to be a pain in the butt to deal with. Now, it does look... Now, I'm kind of confused, because... maybe they're not... It says they're wavering, it looks like they're right about to break, but we still have a minute left, so they must solidify their... They must not run away. So let's see, still got the Elite Persian Archers, 126 kills. The Azat Knights are only at 56, but he really hasn't had much opportunity to use them, unfortunately. So I don't think that's a bad thing on him. But as you can see, they're such a good unit that every time I look at them, they're like more kills. But right now, we're literally just moving everything over to deal with them. We don't have to worry about anything else, so we're just moving all of our units to go finish them off. Yeah, 67 kills. And then these Persian archers did great. They were 144 before they broke, so good job on them. But no, this was a battle, this is a battle that a couple of these guys have been badgering me about for about 2 weeks. Hey, you gonna do that battle? Hey, you gonna do that battle? Hey, you gonna do that battle? But I'm glad that I finally got around to doing it because this was a really good fight. So let's go ahead and let's get out of this and let's go look at the kills. Dave led the kills for us with 2678. Then Solid Man with 2369 and myself with 1913. Dave here... Archers did fantastic. 200 kills on 2 of them, and 170, 127 the other. 260 on the Galatian Royal Guard. His Thorax Swords did really solid. 222 on that guy. Pikes, 103. I don't think he really got into combat much with this guy especially. 131 with his gen. Myself, Lusitania Nobles both did really well. My Cav, they did what they needed to do. Hold off that one spot. 254 slingers, 126, 123. My veteran shields all did solid. My Iberian swords just did everything they needed to do. And then my Lusitania Guerrilla, Unfortunately, had to use them a lot sooner than I needed to do, but even though I didn't get a lot of kills with them, they caused Dave to get a lot of kills with his archers. Then Solid Man, archers did great. 273, 149, 208. I think this guy probably just got focused down. His Sarissa Cav, unfortunately, just like my Cav, he was just helping hold down that one side with those two axemen. And then most of his swords did pretty well. He went for a very, like, expensive army. Because you could see he's missing a lot of units here, but his army performed well. Gorm over here, unfortunately, his elephants just, I don't think they did as well as he wanted them to do, unfortunately. And then he ended up only bringing 3 archer units, 169 and 251 on that guy. His Hellenic Royal Cav did do really well. His hoplites, not as well, but they're not killers, you know what I mean? And then his Italian swords, I'm pretty sure these guys are the ones that got focused down on the while they were going up to the walls. Sam Night Warriors 186, 65. I'm not sure what happened to this guy, but he got annihilated. Wow. Molossian Dogs 128, and then 311 on the pikes. Not bad at all. Artemis. Artemis's archers didn't do too great. I think 2 of them got focused down by some of our stuff. His axemen did a solid job, 102, 189, and then some of them just got beat up pretty bad. And then his Cartleys did pretty well, 145, 152. And then Poofman, who did the best on their team, his archers all did solid. His cav did fantastic. Hillmen are just there to move equipment and soak up ammo, honestly. His Royal Peltis just annihilated, man. 211, or 218, 261, and 239. And then his Thorax swords all did a solid job, with his pikes coming in with some good kills as well. But yeah, guys, I mean that was a great battle. We really enjoyed doing that one, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you guys liked it, leave me a like, and I'd love to see some comments down below, and I'd love to talk with you. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one. Have a Merry Christmas.